Hello, pet enthusiasts. Welcome to Pet Chat. My name is Jason Zakowski. I'm the dog dad of Bunsen and Beaker, and I'm the something of Ginger, the science dogs and science cat on social media. My co-host is...
My name is Chris Zakowski, and I'm also known as Mummy Fave, co-host extraordinaire, co-hostess with the mostest. What else? Dog mom to Bunsen and Beaker, and cat mom to Ginger.
Every week in Pet Chat, we bring a community together to talk about stories about their dogs and listen to the shenanigans that happen with Bunsen and Beaker and Ginger. But today we have a special guest. We have John Rush. John is a former football player. Now, I'm not going to give away, that's a question that's coming up, that does so many amazing things for rescue dogs. So without any further ado, John, welcome so much to Pet Chat.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm really excited to be here, and it's always great to talk to some fellow Canadian dog parents. I always love being here.
Thanks. So we are going to start off with a game. And the game will onboard some folks who maybe don't know who John is and his two awesome dogs. It's Kahoot, and it's up in the nest. It is the first link. So there are a couple pictures that John put up there. So you'll just have to scroll to the right to get to the Kahoot link. And then it's totally free to do this. Anybody can play. You just got to click in there, and it's kind of like a trivia show. So that's what's happening there. We'll give everybody about another 30 seconds to sign in. Now, John, do you feel pretty confident about getting questions right about you?
Honestly, no. I played football for a long time, so sometimes my memory isn't the greatest.
Oh, no.
So I'm like worried that someone actually might know me better than myself. So hopefully I get this stuff right.
Okay, everybody, you got 10 seconds to get into Kahoot. We've got 22 players. That's pretty good. There's a whole schwack more than 22 people here in the space, but not everybody wants to play Kahoot. I get that. Okay, all right. We just had 2 more people sign in. John, are you having a really warm fall in Winnipeg? In Manitoba?
So we were, but yeah. I'm actually in Victoria right now.
Oh, have you moved permanently, or is this like a trip?
A little bit of both.
A little bit of both. Okay.
A lot of moving parts. I'm selling my house in Winnipeg, and in order to sell it, we had to get the dogs out of the house. So. Yeah. We got the dogs out, so we drove the dogs 35 hours across the country.
Oh my goodness!
Oh yeah, it was a good time. And then, but I still have to go back myself and do everything. So,
gotcha.
Quick trip, but we're in the process of moving out here.
Okay, cool. All right. Well, that's news. That's exciting news. The west coast of Canada is beautiful. So
it is. I'm very happy to be here. I lived in San Diego once, actually. So I hope I didn't give away an answer. But,
no, not yet. Not yet.
Good. Okay.
Yeah. We'll start the game. So if you haven't logged into Kahoot, you'll just have to play along with, I'll read out all the answers. So it'll be all right to play anyway. So here we go. Okay. Pet Chat with John Rush. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. 6 questions. With having 2 giant dogs, Bonhomme and Bailey, what is John's greatest nemesis? Baths, hair, Amazon drivers, squirrels. What is John's greatest nemesis? Now, if you've listened to him come into different spaces, you will get this one correct. Oh, there we go.
Yes.
The correct answer is hair. It is hair. John, because your dogs are enormous.
Yes. Yes. I'm currently in 8th place on this. So
so this is a good time. As we play the game, what type of dogs are Bonhomme and Bailey?
So we got Bonhomme DNA tested. Yeah. So I use Bone for short.
Yeah.
But I got him DNA tested actually, and he's 75% Great Pyrenees and 25% Saint Bernard.
Wow.
Bailey is like mostly Great Pyrenees. We didn't get her DNA tested yet, but she's mostly Great Pyrenees, but definitely 100% crazy.
Okay.
She's a bit of a lunatic, but that's why we love her.
Yeah, they're adorable. And how big are both of them? Just for like when people hear Great Pyrenees and maybe they have a golden retriever like us, they're like, oh, it's just a little bit bigger. No.
Yeah, no, it's it's always funny, especially with Halloween coming up. I'm like, oh, like we should do like a group costume for Halloween or something, and I'll look at like dog costumes and like, oh, this is like the biggest dog costume we have at like double XL, and they're like for 70-pound dogs, and I'm like, oh, okay. Like so Bone is 150 pounds, and on 2 feet he's 6 feet tall.
He's so big.
And Bailey is 130 pounds, and on 2 feet she's about 5'9".
Wow.
So it's funny because my partner is actually the smallest person in this house. She's literally bigger than both my dogs. So it's a good time.
I love it. So that's, I always like asking you that question because people think Bunsen's big and he's under 100 pounds. So he would look tiny compared to Bone and Bailey. So
yeah, but he's fluffy, right?
Yeah.
He's got like the fur that makes him look a little bit fluffier than he is.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
In first place, we've got Hala. Second place, Kim. Third, Liz. Fourth, Aaron. Kathy's in fifth. John is not on the leaderboard. Okay.
I got the answer right, but I wasn't quick enough, apparently.
No.
It's a little embarrassing.
It's all good. We got more questions. Here we go.
Good.
Okay. What does Bonhomme do with a smile on his face? Donate blood. Swim. Go paddleboarding. Have baths. So again, if you follow John, you'll get this correctly. And if you don't, you'll learn something. What does Bone do with a smile on his face? And the correct answer is donate blood. Donate blood. That is the correct answer. John, tell us about this. Bone donates blood?
Yeah. It was actually like I just learned about this like fairly recently as well. There's an organization in Canada, so there's not one in America, unfortunately, but there is one in Canada, which is great. And it's called the Canadian Animal Blood Bank. They reached out to me and they kind of just told me about this program. And when I saw the DM, and I'm just like, huh, that's weird. Dogs can donate blood. I was like, that's such a weird thing. But I'm like, that makes a lot of sense. Like dogs, like just like humans, get into accidents or have medical diagnosis where they need blood. And I was like, oh, I guess I just never really thought about it. And they invited me. They're like, hey, we would really love for you to try this out with Bonhomme, because most of the time, Great Pyrenees dogs are universal donors. So,
oh wow, dogs, I didn't know that.
Dogs, just like humans, have blood types.
Yeah,
and I was like, oh, this is like blowing my mind right now.
Yeah,
like this is like the craziest thing. When you actually think about it, you're like, oh, this actually makes complete sense. But no one ever like thinks about it. But yeah, it's a super interesting program. Bone, you're able to do it every 3 months. Bone donates like a quart of blood or not a quart. I'm actually not sure how much it is, but each blood donation saves between 3 and 5 dogs' lives. And he is a universal donor as well. So they tested the blood and they were able to, he's O negative. He's a universal donor. So it's really awesome. And he literally is just like the chillest dog ever. Like just lies on the vet table and they take it and like no problems.
Oh,
and
what a good boy.
He really is. It's crazy. Like the first time we did it, I was so stressed. I was like, I don't know how he's going to react to them drawing blood and like sticking a needle in. And he literally just lied there, like did not react at all. I was like, man, like you are such a better person than me. It's like crazy. So he really is the best.
Oh, what a great story. I did not know that. I did not know that about Pyrenees being universal donors. That is a cool fact.
Yeah. So if anybody has a Pyrenees, it is a pretty cool little fact. And the States doesn't have like a universal like organization like Canada, but there are plenty of like statewide ones, and a lot of like local vets do it as well. So I highly recommend it. It's a really rewarding experience.
Yeah, that's making me think about that. Chris, do you think Bunsen and Beaker would be okay at that? I think Beaker would be.
I think he would be. Bunsen isn't necessarily the biggest fan of the vet.
No. He doesn't like confined spaces. So if you did it like out on a mountain, he'd probably be okay.
No, Jason. I'm usually the one who takes him to the vet and gets to
he doesn't like it.
The vet dog Bunsen.
Yeah, he doesn't like it. All right. Hall is in first. John, you're in second. You've moved up in the world. Ramona, third. Kathy, and then Cooper. Here we go. Continuing. Third question. John was a former football player for this team.
I better get this right.
The Edmonton Elk, AFC Richmond, the Calgary Stampeders, or the Winnipeg Blue Bombers?
They're currently playing, if that helps anybody. But I mean, two of the teams mentioned are currently playing, so it's 50-50 shot.
Okay. All right. Most people got Winnipeg. Somebody picked AFC Richmond. You must be a Ted Lasso fan, so good job, that person.
There you go. I wish I played for Ted Lasso. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, I know. I think everybody would want to play for Ted Lasso. Heather's in first. John, you're still in second. Then Carousel, Ramona, and Kathy. How long did you play for Winnipeg?
I played for 4 years. My last year was technically in 2020, but the season was canceled. So
Right. And you played a lot of football when you were young, like all the way through up junior until you kind of aged out, and then that's when you got picked up by the CFL. Is that right?
Yeah, I played 17 straight years of football before I retired. So I was playing since I was 9 years old, and a lot of the time I was playing in like 2 to 3 leagues a year. So I put a lot of miles on my body, let's say.
And what position did you play? Like, there's tons of positions in football. What did you wind up playing the most of?
So, like most of what I did growing up and in college, I played linebacker. And then when I got the pros, the head coach called me up and was just like, "Hey, how do you feel about switching to fullback?" And if you know football, that's the complete opposite side of the ball. And so I asked him, like, "Well, do you think that it'll help the team?" And he's just like, I really do. He's like, "We'll give you some time to learn it." And he's like, "I think you'll do well." And I'm like, "All right, sounds good." So I got to the pros and immediately switched positions, and then ended up playing 4 years and winning a Grey Cup. So it was an interesting experience, to say the least.
Ah, so cool. That must have been what a cool thing that you've done in your life, winning a Grey Cup. That's like the Canadian version of the NFL's final championship.
Yeah, no, it was crazy. And to be honest, it didn't really like sink in for so long. I remember we were doing some events with it after, and I remember sitting with the Grey Cup in my hotel room.
What? You had the Grey Cup in your hotel room?
Oh,
no way.
This story is crazy. So we were doing an event in Kenora, Ontario, which is just a couple hours outside of Winnipeg.
Yeah.
So Winnipeg's a community-owned team, so like we're owned by the taxpayers technically, which is different than most. So when we won the Grey Cup, a couple of the players were tasked with going to all these different communities around Winnipeg to celebrate with, the people that own the team, which is the taxpayers. So technically, Kenora is in a different province, but we have a huge fan base there. So we brought I and two like people that work for the head office of the Bombers. Took the Grey Cup to Kenora, and we stayed overnight. And within an hour of getting there, I was just sitting in my hotel room with the Grey Cup. And I remember looking out on the lake being like, this is like, this is crazy. Like, this is like the craziest thing I've ever done. And then like an hour later, I go up to eat at the restaurant on top of the hotel, and we look out, and there's just smoke billowing out from the bottom of the hotel. We're just like, I was with the two other people. I was just like, oh, that doesn't look good, but no fire alarms were going off. So I'm like, oh, it can't be that bad. We'll wait and see what happens. And then all of a sudden, like 5 minutes later, someone comes running in. They're like, everyone needs to get out like immediately. Like this place is burning down.
Oh no.
Oh, it was, and we were on the top floor. So we were all like, oh, like this is bad. Okay. Like, we got to go. So, like I did the thing you're not supposed to do, you know, like there's a fire, you're supposed to get out of like wherever you are, like immediately. I'm like, I'm not going down in history as the guy that let the Grey Cup burn.
Oh my goodness. It was back in your hotel room.
Yeah, it was in my hotel room.
I thought it was with you with supper. Oh my goodness.
No. So I was
oh my goodness.
I was like, immediately I'm like, I don't care. If I die, I die. I'm going back to the hotel room.
Goodness.
So I run back to the hotel room, and there's actually like a video of it somewhere on the internet of like some guy on a hill far away is like videoing this fire happening like outside and to the right of the hotel. And then it just pans to like some guy walking around the corner of the other side of the hotel. And the guy goes, is that the Grey Cup? and my car was parked in front of the hotel. So you literally just see me like open my car door, like tuck the Grey Cup into the front seat, put a seatbelt around it, get into the other side of the car, just like drive away.
Oh my
It's like the wildest thing that's ever happened to me.
That is an amazing story, John. I love that. The Grey Cup is like the Stanley Cup. Like it's the big championship thing. Yeah, that's what a wild story. Thanks for sharing that, John.
Yeah.
Sadly, it wasn't enough to bring you into first place. Heather is still in first place. You're in second, Carousel, Ramona, and then Kathy. So we're going to move on to another question. Safety first. I do like that you put the seatbelt around the Grey Cup. That was a good touch there.
Well, it like that was the other thing. I was just like, I'm not going to let it burn, but I'm also not going to get in a car crash and let it snap in half. So it's like, I was just making every precaution here.
Okay, here we go. Next question. Which of these is a trending vegan recipe at the Rescue Dog Kitchen? The "It's a me, not a meatball," the vegan craft dinner, vegan black bean brownies, vegan applesauce. One of these is a trending recipe. Which one is it? Oh, I got a whole bunch of people. It's the vegan black bean brownies. I do appreciate people picking the "It's a me and not a meatball." But
it's actually a good name for a recipe. I'm not gonna lie. I might steal that.
That's pretty good. I was just thinking maybe you should have been Mario, not Chris. Voice Mario, not Chris Pratt.
Yeah, I think the whole Twitterverse is pretty upset that Chris Pratt is voicing Mario. But anyways, talk to us about what is the Rescue Dog Kitchen?
Yeah, the Rescue Dog Kitchen was really just something that I kind of was born out of the pandemic because in 2020, when the pandemic happened, the CFL shut down their season, and it was the first summer in 17 years where I wasn't playing football and really wasn't doing anything. So I'm like, what do I do with all this free time now? Like, this is like, I have a ridiculous amount of free time where I'm not traveling or like working out or like just exhausted from football. So I was like, oh, like, why don't I do something that I like combine two of my favorite things, which is I love to cook. I've been cooking with my mom since I was like 3 years old. And I love like helping rescue animals. So, and I have kind of like this platform where I'm like, well, why don't I kind of teach people how I cook vegan food, especially as, a bigger guy, and make it tasty, and also, use it as a platform to advocate for rescue dogs and to help them raise money. So it was kind of born out of the pandemic, and Bone and Bailey are the mascots for it. And they were like the official taste testers of all the food, but they're not great taste testers because they love everything.
Exactly. I was gonna say Bunsen and Beaker would be like, "What did you make? It sounds like that's yummy." And it's like, yeah, guys, exactly. This is paper that was soaking oil. Like it's not even food, guys.
Oh, exactly. Like literally, it could be like wood chips, and they'd be like, "This
wood chips
never happened to me."
Exactly. Yeah.
So, but yeah, no. So we donate. We have like a little merch store. We have different kind of avenues that we're monetizing through like affiliate links and stuff like that. We donate 50% of all the proceeds to dog rescues. So it's it just gives us another platform to kind of talk about dog rescues, which is something that we like. Both Bone and Bailey are rescues, so it's something that we're pretty passionate about. So and people get to kind of try some new food, and who doesn't like good food, right? So it's a win-win.
Oh, that's amazing. Well, we'll have to talk a little bit more about this. I've got 2 or 3 interview questions once the game is over. But John, you're in first place now. I don't know if you got that announced. Did the thing tell you you're in first place?
No, it just tells me I'm on the podium. So
okay.
Yeah.
John's in first, Megan then second, Kim, Maggie, and Ramona. Okay, so we're moving on. John and his friend did this many squats for animal shelters. Now, hopefully I got this right. 100. Over 9,000. 50. About 242. I had to do the math on this, John, so hopefully I got this right. Okay.
9,000 would be a lot. So.
9,000 would be a lot of squats. 242. Was that did you get that one right? Hopefully I was correct there. Yeah. Was that about correct? Like between you and your bud, you guys did like 242 squats?
Yeah, it was something. Yeah, I think it was. Yeah, it was in and around there. It's a little bit. That was a little bit blurry for me because I felt like I was gonna, by the end of it, almost pass out and die.
That is too many squats. Like, were you using just the bar, or did you have actual weight on there?
Yeah. So no, I had to use. We both used 70% of our body weight.
No way. That is ridiculous, man.
Oh yeah. I had 165 pounds on my back. So I basically had Bunsen on my back.
Oh my goodness.
And he had 135. And yeah, it was like, we did it for an hour straight. So like you could take breaks, but like the whole point was to see how many you could do within that hour. And, you know, I've been playing football. I've been working out since I was like 14, and I have never done something so difficult and hurt so much after in my entire life.
My goodness.
I literally could not sit properly for 3 weeks after. It was like, I was like in excruciating pain. It was wild.
So maybe not a repeat thing to do, but how much money did you raise? You raised a whole schwack of money. Yeah. So people could, the whole point was he runs a foundation in the States called the Be Like Josh Foundation. And they rescue dogs specifically with neurological disabilities. And so, you know, 2 of their dogs, they're amazing dogs. There's nothing wrong with them, but 2 of their dogs need to be in wheelchairs, and some of their other dogs have different, kind of just different impairments. And they help other dogs across America with those disabilities as well. And we ended up raising just shy of $60,000 Canadian. Whoa, what?
It was like
that's huge.
Something American, and I did the conversion. It was like 58,500 and something Canadian. So it was that was the biggest fundraiser I ever did, and it was a lot of. I mean, it was a lot of fun doing it, but it also really sucked doing it. So.
I can't imagine. I lift weights too. But there's no way I'm doing, you know, in a leg day when I'm doing squats, like maybe 4 or 5 sets at the max 15 reps, like, and that's like warm up weight to the, you know, that's a lot of weight, John. That is, I'm just stunned. I'm so stunned. That's so much.
That's the thing. I was like, okay, like normally you do like 4 or 5 sets of like 10 or 15, reps, and I'm like, okay, so like if I did like 5 sets at 10 reps, that's like 50 reps.
50,
I'm like, okay,
yeah.
And I'm like, okay, but and then like you still go and work out and do other like leg workouts for the next 45 minutes or however long you're working out. I'm like, I feel pretty confident that I can do a lot of squats, but like once you hit like that, like I think it was at like 60 or 70. Where I was like, I feel like I just can't do anymore, and you just have to like try and keep going.
Yeah.
And it was just like, no, it was by I think the 40-minute mark. I felt like I was gonna the sweat was just dripping down my face. It was disgusting. Yeah, it was a struggle.
Indra just said squats are great in moderation. So yes, that is true.
Precisely.
Yeah. John's in first, Megan, Ramona, Heather, and then Cooper. I think we have one question left, so let's get to it. By having the goal of John wearing a wedding dress, how much did he raise for animal shelters? Over 9,000. Exactly 5,300. Over 8,000. Exactly 4,500. Now, again, I hope I got this right because I was going off of creeping your tweets, John. So, okay, it is. It was over 8,000. Was that correct, or did it get over 9,000 Canadian? Hopefully,
it actually got a bit over. I think it ended the day I did it. It was over 8,000, but then we kept it open for a couple of days after, and it ended up being actually over 13,000.
Oh wow! Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, it's okay. It's I don't think I announced the final number ever. So
okay.
It's completely understandable.
Right. So this was such a wholesome thing. It was there a goal that had to be reached for you to put on? It was a wedding dress a white wedding dress and white Crocs, if I'm remembering the photos.
Oh, they're a white wedding dress, white Crocs, and I also had a flower crown to go with it. So,
nice.
Yeah, it was a whole ensemble, but the whole reason was I was getting my first vaccination dose, and I'm pretty interactive on Twitter, so I said, hey, I'd like to do a fundraiser to raise money for my first vaccination dose, and it kind of started with, you should be pick between wearing a wedding dress or a tuxedo, and then a lot of people were just like, actually, you should just wear a wedding dress. There were at the time there was this company in the States that if you wore a dress or wedding dress to your vaccine thing appointment, that they would donate money.
Oh, sweet. Okay.
When I got mine, it was already over, so we couldn't do that anymore. But they're like, you should just do this on your own and raise your own money. And I'm like, that's actually a pretty cool idea. Yeah, let's do that. And they're like, yeah, and my vaccination dose was literally on the first day of Pride, and they're like, you could do it as a big fundraiser to raise awareness about kind of gender identities and break down some gender norms within society. And we ended up raising about $13,000. I wore a wedding dress, and it was quite an experience. I had a lot of fun doing it, so it was a lot of fun.
Awesome. And did I get that right? Was it for animal shelters or was it for Pride?
So it was for a local organization that does outreach work for people within the 2S LGBTQ plus community. Okay. So it was more, it was more for Pride.
Okay, I'm sorry about that, John.
No, it's all good. It's all good. So it was more for that. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was unlike any of my other charity and donation drives that I've done. So it was certainly a different one, and for a different organization, it was a lot different than what I normally do. But I had a lot of fun doing it.
Very good. Very good. Well, the points have been tallied. Here we go. In third place, we have Ramona. In second place, we have John. I'm sorry you got that one wrong, maybe. And in first place, we have Meg. So, Meg, you win this game. There's no prize aside from the prize of being first. So, congratulations. Well done. Well done. If you are just joining us right now, my name is Jason Zakowski. I'm the dog dad of Bunsen and Beaker, the science dogs on social media. This is Pet Chat, and we have a special guest, John Rush, with us today. I'd like to give a shout out to our sponsor, barkandbeyondsupply.com. Barkandbeyondsupply.com started out making joint supplements for dogs and then branched into toys and treats and costumes. We'll throw some stuff up of theirs in the nest, and they are sponsoring us today with an adorable incredible prize. It's a Bark and Beyond t-shirt. So if you're here at the end of the show, we'll throw a random number into the random picker and you could win that t-shirt. Okay. Chris, before I continue, did you have anything to ask John?
No, not yet.
No, not yet. Okay.
Okay.
So, John, I've got a couple questions for you. And then if you're okay, can we open up the floor to the community to ask questions of you?
Oh, yeah. No, 100%. I'm an open book. So.
Okay, perfect. So, just some more background about both of your dogs, I guess. They both have Great Pyrenees in them. When you got Bone, he was a rescue. What was the story behind that? Like, how did you come about getting Bone?
Yeah, so Bone's story, I had been searching for, I adopted my first dog when I was 9 years old, had him for about 15 years, and he passed away when I was in university, and I didn't want to get another dog until I was kind of like stable and not in university and had a job, and was so about after my second season in the CFL, I was kind of like, okay, like I'd like to get a dog, and I'm established. I'm technically a grown up, even though I play a game for a job. But I was like, I'm technically a grown up, so I wanted to rescue another dog. So I spent like 8 months looking for dogs, and I always I love big dogs. My first dog, when I adopted him at 9, he was a black lab, but like a very big black lab. He was like 90 pounds. My brother has a 130-pound Rottweiler. His name's Hugo, and we bonded instantly, and like me and Hugo are best friends. And so I just have an affinity for big dogs. I just love them. And so I was looking for not like a specific breed, but just like big. like that was my criteria, was big. And it took me a while to find the right dog. And it just happened. We were on bye week one week where I flew home to see my parents. And I was in bye week, and they're in Niagara. And I was looking on, if no one's heard of this yet, it's a website called Petfinder.com. It lists basically all of the adoptables and rescues in your area. And you can search by breed and location. It's actually a really great tool. It's how I found Bone and Bailey. And so I highly recommend that. But I was looking on Pet Finder, and Bone popped up, and I went and visited him. And within 15 minutes, I adopted him. And I was just like, yeah, this is this guy's coming home with me. I know that's I know we're gonna do well together. And it's been we're coming on 4 years now in November that I adopted him.
And how old is Bone?
So Bone will be 5 in February. We think, where that's
right.
That's kind of a guesstimate on our part. Right.
He is. I love Bone. He is such he's just a character.
He really is. And it's so funny having Bone and Bailey in the house because they're such opposites. Like Bone is just this dopey, kind of not grumpy old man, but he's just he likes to sleep, he likes to lounge, and then he gets up and he's like dope. He's just very dopey. He just you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But Bailey is just he'll be sleeping and she'll come nip at his ear and want to play and bug him and stuff. And she is just she's a lot more high energy than he is. So it's very funny having both of them in the house.
And speaking of Bailey, she is also a rescue. How did you come about her?
Yeah. So she's technically a foster fail, although not really. So I found her on Pet Finder. We saw her pop up, and she had been abandoned on a farm in Manitoba. So I got her when I was in Winnipeg, and she got abandoned on a farm. Family. So both Bone and Bailey technically come from breeders, but were abandoned. So Bailey was abandoned after only 2 weeks of being with the family. They abandoned her onto a random Manitoba farm. And then the farmer was just like, I can't have this random 14-week-old dog on my farm.
This polar bear.
Yeah, literally. This land cloud that is just roaming the farm. So he called a rescue to pick her up. And they picked her up, and I found her, and they needed a foster for her because they were full. So I was just like, oh, okay, like I'll foster her for you guys. Like, that's no problem. I'm like, I'm not really sure if I want a puppy. I never had a puppy before. Bone was already almost a year when I got him, and my first dog was already a couple years old when I got him. So I had never had a puppy. I'm like, puppies are a lot of work. I'm not really sure I want one. But so I agreed to foster her. But by the time that I picked her up and brought her home, I called the rescue, and I was like, hey, I'm going to adopt this dog. So it was like technically a foster fail, but it was like probably the quickest foster fail in history.
Oh, that's adorable. Chris, are you sensing some Bunsen and Beaker vibes with Beaker bugging Bunsen when he's just trying to sleep or be a good boy?
Yeah, like being a little pest for sure.
Yeah.
I think it's the little sister energy. I think it's just classic little sister energy.
Yes, I think so too. Yeah, because we were mentioning, I would mention that to Chris the other day, but Bunsen was just sleeping, just being a good boy, and Beaker came over and just bit his neck scruff, just like went arr, and then he's like, really, and then they got into it. So, which is good. Maybe you do need a little Beaker to get you up and moving. I'm not sure.
I think it's good for them. It's good for Bone. If it was up to Bone, he would sleep 23 hours a day. So like it's good. It gets him up, it gets him moving. And as much as he pretends like it upsets him, like when they're playing, I can see it. He's happy. Like, he's happy that he's playing with her. So
he's like, but okay, this is good. This is fun.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, oh, I still love you though. So
So one other question I have, and then we'll open up the floor to the community, is about your vegan recipes at Rescue Dog Kitchen. I highlighted one of them. That was the vegan black bean brownies, which sounds delicious. I think we need to try those, Chris. You've made all of these recipes. Do you have some favorites that you could tell us about that people could check out at Rescue Dog Kitchen?
Yeah, for sure. The black bean brownie one was interesting because I was trying to just do something like a little bit healthier than eating just like a sheet pan of brownies. So that one was fun because they're a little bit healthier than what, like, you don't have to feel like guilty about eating an entire sheet of them. But they still taste like brownies. So I really like that one. But some of my favorite ones were just like there's vegan hamburger helper.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah. So that one, it makes an enormous like portion too. So like, I think that's like one of the biggest problems I had with this, like doing this website was like the portion sizes, because like everything I make is for myself, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I eat considerably more than most people. So when I'm making these portion sizes, I'm like, okay, so it's one portion for me, but I'm like, this is probably 3 normal people portions.
So cut it by a third for somebody who's not John Rush.
Yeah, literally. So like the vegan hamburger helper, I'm like, oh, this is like 2 meals for me. And my partner was like, John, this is like an entire week's worth of food. What are you talking about? And I'm like, oh no, this will last me 2 days. And she's just like, no, what? So that one's one of my favorite. And I also have a vegan Big Mac recipe on there. That is one of like, I drove, like there's a picture of a McDonald's fries box in the pictures.
Mm-hmm.
And I drove to 3 different McDonald's and was just like, hey, can I get a box of fries? And they're like, oh, so you want fries? I'm like, no. I just want the box. And they're like, what? And I'm like, I'll pay for it. I don't care. Just give me the box. And they're like, so like the first 2 wouldn't do it. The third one finally was like, yeah, here you go. Like, you don't have to pay for it. It's fine. But yeah, so that one I'm really proud of because the pictures turned out really well, but also the recipe is like one of the best recipes I think I've ever made.
Oh, it looks just like a Big Mac, John. I'm on the site right now looking at it.
Yeah. I tried my best. I was like research. I was like Googling all the Big Mac pictures to try to make it like very similar in like the food styling. So yeah, that one was fun. That one was a lot of fun.
I love it. All right. So folks, if you have a question for John, go ahead, request the mic, of course, just with some caveats. If we don't know who you are, you're probably not going to get up to the stage. We like to keep this the space a safe space. So if you have a question for John, if you do have a question about Bunsen and Beaker, you can ask that too. We'll save the pet stories for another week, as we do have a guest today. So you'll have to save your pet story for next week on Saturday. So we're just sticking to questions today. And then Chris, you can go right now as we're bringing people up if you have a question for John. Or maybe Chris is being
we have a bunch of guests who would like to ask questions. So I've got Kathy, Tracy, Cooper, and Snickerdoodle.
Perfect.
Thanks. That order.
Thanks, Chris. You rock. Kathy, go ahead. Do you have a question for John?
I sure do. John, it's great to hear from you and talk to you. I'm a great follower and I'm vegetarian, so I love all your recipes. I'm wondering, other than the fact that it's an absolutely beautiful place, what is causing you to move from close to Minnesota, where I live, to the other end of Canada?
First of all, Kathy, it's great to speak to you again. I do appreciate all the support. I know you've been following us for a while now, so thank you. But to answer your question, my partner got a job out here in Victoria with the Canadian Armed Forces, and she was actually in Boston before that. And so we've been doing long distance for a bit. And I'm not originally from Winnipeg. I'm actually from Niagara Falls, and my family's kind of all over the place. So I didn't actually have, other than, playing for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, I didn't have a lot of ties to Winnipeg. So I wasn't stuck there. And it was kind of like, well, me and my partner can't do long distance forever. So it was either kind of move out to Victoria with her or break up with her. And I didn't want to break up with her. So I drove the dogs out and now we're out here and enjoying it. But I will miss the prairies. I think the prairies get a lot more hate than they deserve. That's for sure.
They do. Thank you. I have one other question. Have you ever thought of having a podcast series? You have a great conversational approach, and I think a lot of people would be listeners.
I do appreciate that. I have a lot of ideas in my mind, but unfortunately, the CFL didn't pay as much as some other professional leagues. So I have to work a full-time job as well as do kind of all these other things on the side. So maybe one day it would be nice because if you know me, I do enjoy talking quite a lot. So, but maybe one day I will.
That would be great. Jason could give you tips on having a full-time job and doing everything else in the world too. Thanks, John.
I admire Jason immensely I see how much he does, and it blows my mind, especially because I know, Jason, you're a teacher, and working with kids is a lot. It's a lot of work, and all the other things you do. I have no idea how you do it. Honestly, it's crazy.
Well, thanks, John, and I'll continue to follow you.
Thanks, Kathy.
Well, I'm jealous, John, that you are in Victoria. You're probably not going to miss those Winnipeg winters once you have a Victoria winter. You might get sick of the rain, though.
Or the black fly summers.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's the thing about Winnipeg is they say there's two seasons, and it's winter and either construction or mosquito season. So, but no, I loved Winnipeg. But yeah, to get out, especially after last winter, which I know it was bad out in Alberta too. It almost broke me. Like it was bad. It was really, really bad. So I'm excited to be in someplace that's just a little bit warmer.
Do you do stuff on the ocean, John? Like you're from, I guess not really, being in Winnipeg and then Niagara. That's really far away from the ocean. Do you surf at all or paddleboard?
No. I tried surfing once, like when I think I was like 10 or 11. I went to, like, my parents took us to Disney World, failed miserably.
Oh, it's hard. It's not easy.
It is an incredibly athletic sport. Like surfing takes a crazy amount, and so does paddleboarding, to be honest. I've paddleboarded a couple of times. It is very difficult. It's like, especially, I don't know, maybe I just have a weird body or something, but to, like, the body control required is very difficult.
Yeah. Well, you're a big muscly guy, and that just goes against you with surfing.
Yeah.
I am not good at surfing, but I love it. So we usually go out to the West Coast once a year with the dogs. We didn't go out this last summer, but we always go to the West Coast to do a couple days of surfing. Our son Adam is getting pretty good at it though, Chris. Hey, like he can surf big waves all the way in now, no problem.
No problem.
Yeah, I'm a little bit jealous of him.
He makes it look so easy.
I know.
Like paddle up and ride the big wave.
Yeah, good for him though.
Time.
I love it even if I suck. It's so fun. But anyways, over to Tracy.
Hi guys.
Hello.
Hi John, long-time listener, first-time caller.
You just got some background noise, Tracy. Sorry, if you're by the television, maybe just take a couple steps away.
All right. Okay, so I was just wondering, like, how long you were in the CFL and when you decided to stop, like, when you just decided to stop and how long you were in it.
Yeah, no, for sure. It's relatively recent that I stopped, actually. So I played 2017 through 2020. My last year was 2020, and I was actually still under contract when I decided to stop playing. And the unfortunate reality, as I alluded to earlier, is that the CFL is, we all kind of nicknamed it, what all the players call it, cash flow low, because there's just not a lot of money in it. It's like the players on the field are probably making less than the people in the stands. So when they were deciding to come back after the 2020 season in 2021, they asked us to take a 40% pay cut. Oof. And I was, and then on top of that, not guarantee our contracts. So Bone had some health issues. Bailey also had some health issues at the start when I first adopted her too. So at the time, I had a mortgage. I was like living by myself, paying all the bills. So I was like, it's getting very difficult for me to continue to justify playing this game. And also in a violent sport like football, I love it. I don't regret any of my decisions, but a violent sport like football, you're basically one play away from never being able to, like, hold your kids or walk your dogs or walk properly or, have a functioning brain again. So like I said, I don't regret any of my decisions, but it was becoming hard to justify continuing to play for very minimal reward. And unfortunately in this world, we need to make money to live and pay for things. So I was like, yeah, I got to call it quits here and kind of grow up a little bit and get a big boy job and go from there.
That's good that you tell everybody about that. That's not something, I mean, the CFL, Canadians watch it and the Americans may know about the CFL, but it's definitely not the same pay for sure. There was a kicker for the Vancouver team, I think was a teacher. So he'd teach all day and then he'd go kick a couple footballs and then have to go back and mark at night, like, cause he didn't get paid a heck of a lot to be a kicker for the team. So anyways,
that's kind of it. So it gets unfortunate because it really is, like, it's good football. Like some people make fun of it, but it's actually really good football and it's really entertaining. But yeah, there's just not a lot of it. It is getting better since I've left. Actually, they've raised it. They've raised the minimum salary twice, and it's getting better every year, which is I love to see. I still have friends in the league, and I'm like, heck yeah, man! Like, get your money, do that. Like, if that's what you want to continue doing, great. But just for me personally, I'm just like, I can't do this anymore. Like, my body hurts. I need to maybe call it quits here.
It's a good question, Tracy. Thank you. Okay, over to Cooper, then Snickerdoodle, and then Paula. Cooper, hello.
Hi, good evening, bonjour, or bonsoir, I should say, to Chris. I don't have a question. This is just more of a comment to both John and to Chris and Jason. I had my partner and I were together around 2003, and I had a golden, and they had two goldens, and so when we moved in together, we were the golden Brady bunch, basically.
Oh.
Throughout our 16 years, we had a total of 5 goldens. The last 3 were rescues, and for one reason or another, they'd come and gone. And in July of 2019, my partner died suddenly.
Oh.
And I've had my Twitter account for over a decade, but it wasn't until then where I kind of find myself alone, no pets, no partner, and I was able to find this great avenue of fellow dog lovers, and I started following Bunsen and Beaker and their antics. I got to see Beaker grow up. I got to see John with Bowen and Bailey, and I got to see them grow up, and I got to see the good, the bad. I mean, it was the laughter, it was the crying along, depending on what happened, especially with Bonham's health issue. And I just wanted to say, on behalf of myself, I guess, thank you, because you guys really do offer a wonderful avenue, and the other dog websites, and there's so many, but I just, with both of your sites, or both of your Twitter handles, it made me less lonely. It made me get, and even though I didn't have a pet to call my own, I kind of got to live vicariously, and that was okay. So I just wanted to thank you both, and actually thank all of Dog Twitter for just being there. Thanks.
Oof, wow, Cooper, thank you. I'm tearing up a bit here. Thank you. We get to live vicariously through other pet accounts as well, so I get it. We get to live vicariously through John's account with his 2 awesome dogs as well.
Yeah, no, and really, Cooper, I really appreciate you sharing that story, and really one of the impetuses of me doing a lot of this social media stuff is realizing that I had a lot of privilege in society, being a professional athlete, and then the pandemic happened, and I was trapped in Winnipeg by myself. So I can, completely relate to that kind of sentiment of being alone. And this community has been so, great and amazing. So, I'm just as thankful to everyone that has embraced, Bone and Bailey into their lives as I'm sure you guys are of us. So truly, we do appreciate all the support that we get on a daily basis on here.
Mm-hmm. Chris and I read all the comments, and like the comments we get were like, thank you, or a little heart, or that makes our day too, to know that what we do, the time that we put in to make science posts or cute posts or whatever, that it resonates with people. So Cooper, thank you so much for that. I'll tell John, can I tell a quick story about this terrible mistake I made a couple days ago that turned into something wonderful? Is that okay?
100%.
Okay. So Chris knows about this. I don't know if anybody else knows about this. So, because I'm so busy, I have this AI program that helps me out with scheduling. I'm not trying to make money off it, but it's called like Hype Fury. It's amazing. It's so cool. And it has all of these really cool features, and one of them is an auto DMer. So if I send out a tweet, I can give it the AI parameters so that if somebody likes my tweet, it will send them a message. Like it will DM them a message. I think it's for marketers. It's like you have some kind of thing and somebody likes it, and then you auto DM them like, hey, you liked my post, would you buy a shoe or something like that? So I was like, oh, I'm going to use this for a wholesome idea. I'm going to tweet out, retweet if you love dogs. And then every person that retweeted it got a message from Bunsen and Beaker saying, we love you back, or something like that, something wholesome. Right? So good idea, right, John? Like this sounds like the greatest idea. Somebody retweets it and they automatically get a little DM from us. Now, I did not think this through, because everybody who got the DM also heart emojied it and also sent me pictures back or thank yous or something. So in the span of about 4 or 5 hours before I realized my horrible mistake, because I was teaching at this time, our account had over 860 DMs from people, and basically RIP my inbox. And because my DM is linked to my Gmail account, I also got 800 plus emails from everybody. So this gets to the heart of what Cooper's talking about. I just kind of shrugged. I was like, oh man, that's too bad. But people resonated with it. It was important to people that they got this little pick-me-up from Bunsen and Beaker. And that's okay that I had to go through over 800 messages. I had to delete the tweet. So some people are like, what happened? I was like, I can't. What happens if, some big account retweets it and I get, I'll crash Twitter. I don't know what's going to happen. So
yeah. That's awesome. That is amazing.
I thought I would just tell that story. So, okay, over to Snickerdoodle and then Paula.
Hi, good evening, everybody, and welcome to beautiful BC, John.
Yeah, thanks for welcoming me. It's been, it hasn't rained once since I've been here, so I'm pretty happy right now, not gonna lie.
Yeah, that's unusual for Victoria. I think they're we're all in a drought right now, but you will get the rain, trust me.
Oh, yeah.
They call it the Sunshine Coast, but it's not. I was wondering, when you were talking about the blood donations, I got distracted. I didn't hear all of it. And you were talking about the Great Pyrenees. This is kind of a stupid question, but is it open to all breeds of dogs?
So yeah, it is open to most breeds of dogs. The real restrictions would come in to weight restrictions. So they have to be a certain weight. Every place is a little bit different. Bailey's just barking in the background.
Bailey sounds like Bunsen. That's hilarious.
Yeah, maybe she has. Oh, Bone, calm down, buddy. And she actually might have some Bernese in her. Who knows? We have to get her tested. So, but yeah. So to get donations, there's not technically a breed restriction. It's just the weight restriction. So most places they have to be over 40 pounds. So just kind of by virtue, a lot of the smaller breeds kind of get eliminated from that. I don't think I've ever seen a 40-pound Chihuahua. That no. kind of fun. But like, yeah, so for that, it, like I said, it's not really a breed restriction. It's just a weight restriction. And there's also, they have to be over, it's different everywhere, but usually they have to be over 1 year, and have to have given their first donation before they turned 8. Yeah. So that's the rules around it.
Okay, that just eliminated my dog. Okay.
They're Great Pyrenees St. Bernard mixes. Yeah.
Yeah. No, my dog's 12, so he probably wouldn't qualify then.
Probably not. But for anybody else, they might. So, sorry, the dogs are just freaking out, and the neighbors are asking questions too. So,
that's a live audio show, though, John. This is not scripted.
Exactly right. So, trying to wrangle Bailey into the house here and not get in trouble by the neighbors. So sorry about that, but they're in the house now. So we're
okay. Thank you very much.
That's a great question, Snickerdoodle. Thanks. Over to Paula. Hi, Paula. How's it going?
Hi, everybody. Good evening. How's everybody doing? Hi, John. It was so nice to talk to you tonight. I know you're a big oatmeal fan, right? Because I see some of your tweets about all your different kinds of oatmeal. So, do you ever feed the dogs anything vegan too? I was kind of wondering, like, could they ever eat something like oatmeal or put in their diet or?
Yeah, no, it's a question I get asked a lot is, are the dogs vegan too? And it's not one I generally talk about like too publicly or anything like that. The dogs aren't vegan. They eat their diet. They both have like severe allergies. When I first adopted Bone, he was covered in hot spots because that he came from was feeding him just what most rescues can get, which is just donations. So like most rescues don't have like big budgets or anything like that. So they rely on just donations. So the brand of food he was getting was not great, but it was food. So like that was good, but he was covered in hot spots. He had to be on pretty heavy medication for the first couple months I got him. And so neither of them are vegan, but contrary to popular belief, dogs actually can be vegan. There's been a couple of recent studies that have come out, and especially it's an unfortunate part of the dog industry, but feeding them vegan dog food, there's a couple brands out there, can actually, and obviously, talk to your vet about this. Don't just take my advice for it, but it can be better for dogs because of how terrible and how unregulated the dog food industry is. That they just put a lot of really bad things in a lot of dog food. So, and like the dogs do get most of the time they don't get a lot of treats, but they'll get like peanut butter treats, and if they have an upset stomach, they'll get pumpkin or rice, and all that stuff's vegan. So, but like most people don't associate rice with being vegan, right? Or pumpkin per se with being vegan. It's just pumpkin and rice. So
yeah, pumpkin's great for dogs. That's great for diarrhea. I mean, I hate to say it, but it is. Yeah. It's great for stuff like that because it's a natural binder. But anyway,
exactly.
I just love your dogs. But I got to tell one quick thing. I'm a dog walker by profession, and I love this dog, and he had passed away. But one of my clients had a mostly Saint Bernard with Great Pyrenees. So he had the hair, like a little longer hair than a regular Saint Bernard. And he was 150 pounds.
Oh my goodness.
It was like walking a small pony. And he went slow, and everybody stopped, and we called him Mr. Hollywood. His name was Bogart, but he was Bogart, like bogey, like bogey, but Bogart. And we called him Bo, and he just was the biggest attention getter. So I love it that your dogs are part that too, because I think they're a great breed. And one quick question I have at the end. Whatever happened to your wedding dress? And if you get married, will you ever put a piece of it in your tuxedo or something to say, yeah, you have a piece of something old?
That's a great question. I still have the wedding dress, actually. It's sitting in my basement in my house in Winnipeg. So I have to figure out something to do with it. I already asked my partner if I could wear that at our wedding.
Brave guy.
Yeah, it was. I don't know if brave or stupid is the right word. She was super upset with me for that. So I will not be wearing the actual dress at our wedding, but it's a good idea to maybe put it in my tuxedo or something. That could be fun.
Yeah, something old, and you could put it in a little pocket or something.
Yeah, like
funny.
A pocket square.
Yeah, exactly.
With the lace or something. But well, thank you so much, John. It was so nice talking to you. I'm a big fan, and I've been following you for a while.
Yeah, it was great talking to you too, Paula. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, thank you.
So, John, before we get to the end here, folks can follow you here on Twitter, but you're also on Instagram. Are you on other social media platforms or just those two?
Those are my biggest ones. I have a YouTube channel as well, but I haven't been able to update it in a while. My YouTube channel is more vegan food. So if you're more interested in the vegan side of that, then that's where that's where a lot of my vegan content lives. Whereas on Instagram, it's more, I update my stories daily, and it's like daily Bone and Bailey content on my stories, as well as on Twitter. So those are the platforms I'm most active on.
Perfect. The last time we talked, and this is a while ago, you were doing Instagram lives. Like, are you still doing that?
Yeah. We do Instagram lives. I was doing them more frequently. With this move kind of killed me a bit, but we do Instagram lives, and I used to drink. I used to drink a couple shots, and then we would do Instagram lives. people would get me to do stuff. Like, I would try to get people to teach me. I have long hair. Like if you look at my pictures, I have like pretty long hair. I've been growing it out for 4 years now, and I bought my first hairbrush like 6 months ago. And like I buy the Kirkland 2-in-1 shampoo and conditioner. Like, I don't know how to take care of my hair. I don't know how to style it I don't know how to do anything to it. So like I would, have a couple of drinks and get people to try and teach me how to like do my hair. And they're a lot of fun. People love them. I get to like show Bone and Bailey and in their natural habitats live on, in video live where even the stories are pretty like curated. Right. So, showing people even kind of this audio live it's different, right? Because it's not scripted. It's more raw. It shows you the other side where, even the stories and the posts, they're edited down to only show you the good bits. So, those are a lot of fun because you get to see Bone and Bailey in their actual habitat where they're just like, if I don't capture the perfect moment, it's just like, well, this is them. They're probably sleeping. So, like it's not them like doing something fun or being super cute. It's just them like grunting on the ground, like sleeping, and like that's it. So it's kind of cool being able to show that side of them as well.
That's funny. We've started to live stream Bunsen and Beaker every Thursday on the Pawpack Plus, our community. And that's the thing is like Bunsen will just come and sleep in front of the camera for 2 hours. So he's like the tiger at the zoo that just won't wake up. Like he's just there.
Yeah, exactly.
And then Beaker doesn't sleep in where the camera points to. She sleeps on this couch in our sunroom. So like Beaker's never on the live stream, and I got to figure a way to get her over to the live stream because she's never there. So I feel your pain with the live video, but it is what it is. That's what they are. That's what dogs are.
Well, exactly. Right. So it's like 99% of the time or 90% of the time it's difficult to get them to do the stuff you want them to do. And that's why, like, even my latest post on Instagram, Bailey is literally pointed the wrong direction. And I'm just like, yeah, that's all right. That's how it's going to be. Like, it's just like, so dogs kind of teach you that sometimes perfect, it's unattainable, and that's okay. So that's what I kind of love about it.
You betcha. John, do you have time for one more question?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I got lots of time.
Okay, perfect. So we'll let this one person who's requesting, Brett Jolie, up.
Was Karen able to ask a question?
Did I?
Yeah.
Karen.
I see her, but Karen J's speaker, but I don't know if she asked a question.
I don't see them as a speaker. Kathy asked Paula, Cooper, Snickerdoodle, and now we have Brett. So I don't see that other person.
Maybe, I don't know.
I'll look. But Brett, do you have a question for John? Okay, we'll try one more time, Brett. Oh, there's Karen. Well, okay, so Karen is coming up, and then we'll bring Brett up. So maybe you're right. You were right about Karen, John. She just got kicked out there. Brett, we'll try one more time with you and then we'll go to Karen. Brett, did you have a question?
Hey, yeah, sorry about that. I kind of rugged out there while I was being brought up to the speakers. My question for John is, does your dog, Bunsen, or Bonhomme, have any experience doing camera work for film and television?
That's actually kind of a funny question. No, he doesn't. But I lived in an apartment building one year downtown Winnipeg, and a little known fact that not a lot of people know about Winnipeg is that if you're like into Hallmark movies and like the Hallmark channel, a lot of those movies are actually filmed in Winnipeg.
I knew that.
Yeah, it's. I mean, obviously, a lot of those movies are like this isn't a chirp, but like a lot of those movies are low budget, and Winnipeg is a very low budget place to film. And so one time I was out walking Bone, and they were filming literally right outside my apartment door, and I had to walk through this Hallmark movie set. And so Bone was almost in a Hallmark movie at one point. They were trying to figure out how to work him. Like, so I walked by the director, and like they had to stop filming because of him.
Like, oh my goodness!
We walked through the set, and I didn't really know it was the set, and I was like, "Oh, sorry." And like the director was like, "Oh my God, is that your dog?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, so he starts talking to the producer. He's like, "How can we work him in?" Like blah blah. Like they were trying to work him in, but they said they're like, "Oh man, like we wish we like knew about this more like beforehand." Like they couldn't make it work. And I was like, "Oh, no problem." Like I think it was like 11 o'clock at night anyway. I was like, I don't really want to be outside in Winnipeg anymore. So it was cold. So no, it's a funny question because he doesn't, but he was literally almost in a Hallmark movie at one point.
Dude, that's sweet. Also, shout out to a fellow Canadian. I'm also from Canada, up here in Vancouver. And I've also worked on tons of Hallmarks. So nice, cool connections there.
That's a great question, Brett. Bunsen and Beaker haven't been close to Hollywood or anything like that, John. But they were filming The Last of Us for HBO all over Alberta. And yes, and we did, when we were in Calgary, we saw some of the set to The Last of Us. So that was cool. I don't think, though, I would want Bunsen or Beaker to be in that TV show, though.
Yeah, no, I played the video game, and it's a great video game, but it's a pretty intense.
Very intense game, yep.
No, it's not like super chill like most Hallmark movies are.
No. Okay, Karen, John spotted you. Did you have a question?
Hello?
Hi. Hello, Karen.
Hi. Just a couple of quick things I wanted to say. John, I love your photography. One of the things I love most about your Twitter account is your photography. Of course, once you put a dog in there, it raises it exponentially. But you and Jason and Chris, Bunsen and Beaker, and you, John, just have the most wonderful photography with your dogs and your Canadian scenery.
I appreciate that. I'm very fortunate that I have very photogenic and just very good looking dogs. I think it's just they make it easy to take pictures of them.
Yes. I also wanted to say, were you vegan when you were playing football?
Yeah. So I turned vegan in my second year. So I was vegan for 3 of the 4 years I played professionally.
I admire that so much because I try to go without meat and I just feel so weak that I can't do it. And I don't know how you do that and still maintain energy and weight and all of that. I'm just really impressed with that. I'd love to be vegan. I hate eating animals. How do you do that? How do you feel well?
Yeah, no, it's a great question. It's actually one of the big reasons I actually started Rescue Dog Kitchen too was, not just that I had a love for cooking, but a lot of people were just like, man, you play football, like one of the most violent sports on earth. You're 6'1", 230 pounds. How do you how do you not eat meat? Everyone was like just like everyone was always very confused by it. So this website really gives me somewhere I can point to, and I'm like, hey, these are a lot of the things that I eat. You know, like this is the kinds of foods that I eat. Obviously, like I kind of alluded to earlier, I eat a lot, and like most people, like when I go away to eat, they're kind of just like, man, how do you eat so much? Like, this is crazy. Like, and I'm just like, in order to be this size, like, I'm like, this is how much I need to eat. And so someone actually got upset at me at one point when I was making one of my videos. They're like, oh, like you make so much food, it's so wasteful. And I'm like, no, like this is how much I need to eat to keep my job. So like, it's not wasteful. Like but whatever. But yeah, so that's so like my website kind of shows a lot of people how I eat and how I get enough like nutrients and specifically the big one everyone always asks is like, how do you get your protein?
Right.
And I have a specific section on the website for high protein meals. And like, to be honest, most of the meals in general are pretty much just high protein because I've always just been super, like, I like needed high protein meals for like what I did. So basically what I always cook is like high protein, especially for most, I don't want to say normal people, but most people that weren't, you know, like professional athletes. So, so I would, you know, I would check out the website. If you have any questions about anything, shoot me a message on Twitter or Instagram or anything. And I'm always available to answer questions about that kind of stuff.
Okay, thanks. I'll check that out. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
That's awesome. Can you tell us a little bit about the Royale toilet paper campaign with Bonhomme?
Yeah, I can. That one is still one of the, I keep saying this, but one of the craziest things that's ever happened to me. Like, I got like a random DM on Instagram that I thought was fake at first. The only reason I like went along with it was because it was from the verified like Royale account. So I was like, okay, like I guess. So like they DM me and they're like, hey, how would you feel about Bonhomme being on the package of Royale toilet paper? And I'm like, is this serious? Because if this is serious, that'd be really cool. Like, you know, don't play with me here. Like, are you being serious? So then like we hop on a couple calls and they're like, hey, yeah, this is our vision, like Royale. So I hopped on a call with like some of the executives at Royale and they're like, last year we raised $250,000. This year we want to double it to $500,000. And they were helping like rescues and shelters across Canada to raise funds, and they were like supplying them because, of course, like rescue shelters need like paper towel, like a lot of paper towel and other supplies, right? So and money. So Royale, we hop on these calls and it was me and I think 4 or 5 other people were involved in it. If anybody watches the Olympics, Penny, I think her last name's Slangsky or it's something like that. I think I'm butchering her last name, but she's the Canadian swimmer that is the most decorated Canadian athlete in history, I think, at this point. She was a part of it with her rescue dog and a couple other people. And it was crazy. They flew in a professional photographer into Winnipeg and took professional photos. Like, he was a literal model. And then his face went on the packaging of the 3-ply Royale toilet paper across Canada. And it was wild because I had people from like the depths of Canada, like rural, like Saskatchewan, tweeting at me. And
Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan.
Yeah, Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan. and like, and it was, and they're like, oh my God, I just found Bonhomme at the store, like tweeting pictures. And I'm just like, I did not even, like, I didn't think it would, like, I thought it would go to like the major centers and like that was it. They're like, no, like they did every single package that went out to print. Cool. Had his face on it. I was like, oh dang, that was pretty wild. It was cool because it came out almost a year after his eye surgery. So it kind of showed how far he had come in just 1 year. So it was a really cool thing.
Thanks for asking that, Chris. That was on my notes and I totally forgot to ask that.
No problem.
I love it. Okay, I've run the random number generator, and this person in the space has won the Bark and Beyond Supply.com t-shirt, and that they have your banner is Gritty. The mascot for I think that's Philadelphia, like the Gritty. Halloween Haley at Haley Pidbow. Halloween Haley, you've won the Bark and Beyond Supply.com t-shirt. Please, you will have to direct message Bark and Beyond Supply.com to win. So congratulations. So again, if you are probably the only person in the space with Gritty as your profile. So congratulations on your win. Please DM Bark and Beyond Supply.com to set up the details. So as we close out, John, is there anything new coming for you that you'd like us to know about? Anything we can help you out with? Anything you'd like us to know?
Honestly, like this move has basically at this point consumed my entire life. So there's not like a ton right now, but the content, especially the hiking content and stuff like that, is going to ramp up, which is going to be nice because the views of the ocean with Bulgaria in the background are going to be spectacular. We've already taken them on a couple hikes this week, and it's been awesome. So definitely stay tuned for that because it's going to be a lot of fun doing like all the hikes out here. And the dogs so far have loved every second of it. So a lot more of that to come. That's for sure.
Awesome. I can't wait to see. And again, Chris and I will live vicariously through your photos there. I've thrown up in the nest, just as we kind of round out the space, our partner, Indra's Space. So we have Indra Bartona is our partner. It's not up there. It's not coming up, but I'll throw it up there one more time. It's probably just going to double post, but that's okay. She has started, she's part of the, okay, I'll start this again. I'm just kind of scrambling a bit here saying this as I posted it. One more time. Our partner Indra is running an awesome space on Monday with music. So if you love live music, turn into Indra's Space on Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern. A musician named Dan Roeder or Danny Brook 734. I think his name's Dan Roeder. He is going to be the musician. Last week there was a classical pianist and it was amazing. Very cool to have live music on Twitter. So our partner Indra, please check that out on Monday. And then for us, a couple things. If you haven't signed up for the Bunsen and Beaker pup date, that's our newsletter. Just check it out in our profile. You'll keep up to date on all of the things that are coming down the pipe. One of those, two of those things are Text from Bunsen. The ebook is out. Thank you everybody who's picked up a copy of that. If you pick up a copy of Text from Bunsen, the ebook, you will get put into the Text from Bunsen community for free. And then there will be tons of surprise updates that happen till the volume 2 comes out. And then as well, our space on Tuesday is our science space. That's SciChat. And our guest next Tuesday, or the Tuesday coming up, is Dr. Ivis Gore, who is a radioactive chemist. So dealing with radiation and chemistry in medicine. Very, very cool. Okay. Chris, do you have anything else to add before we round out?
I sure don't.
Okay.
You did a great job.
All right.
Wrapping us up.
Okay.
I just really appreciate having you here with us, John, tonight and sharing all about your stories and about the dogs and all the wonderful things that you're doing. Just it's transformational in our society. And we just appreciate all that you do.
No, I appreciate having you guys having us on, and it's like I said before, I enjoy talking, so I never pass up an opportunity to talk, but I don't always get a platform and to do that on. So for the two of you to have built it, your platform up and to bring on all these amazing speakers that are significantly more knowledgeable than me. I've listened to some of the pet science chats, and You had a nuclear scientist on once, I believe, and I was just like, wow, that is just crazy. And it was a really good talk, and it was really awesome. So to even just be on here and be able to talk about Bone and Bailey, it's super appreciated. So yeah, thanks so much for having me on.
Oh, thanks, John. We think it's wild too, the people we get to talk to, and that includes you. You saved the Grey Cup from a fire. That is pretty impressive.
It's probably one of the coolest things I've done.
All right, as we close out the space, everybody, let's give John some emojis. There are new emojis. There's the 100. There is the love. There is the clap. There is the wave. You could give him a fist bump. So, John, thanks for being our guest again tonight. So appreciate it. You're welcome back anytime. I know you're a busy guy. Thank you so much for giving us some of your time tonight.
Yeah, no, thanks for having me.
And happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah, happy Thanksgiving.
There you go.
And to all the Americans, we do celebrate Thanksgiving a bit early, but don't get that confused. We do have the same Christmas as you guys. We don't celebrate early Christmas. We just have early Thanksgiving. To all of our speakers who came up to ask questions, thanks for having the courage to speak publicly. And to all of the people who sent messages and chimed in on the chat, thank you very much there. As we close, Sherry just wanted to tell you, John, as a Great Pyrenees rescue owner, thank you so much for your account. And that's pretty wholesome.
Yeah, no, thank you. Yeah, I think it's awesome to be able to do this on a daily basis.
Chris, thanks for being my co-host, and we hope to see all of you in Indra's Music Space on Monday, and come learn about some radioactive nuclear chemistry that's being used in medicine. I don't get it, so I can't wait to talk to our scientist on Tuesday. Okay, take care, everybody. Be kind, be well. For science, empathy, and cuteness. Take care. Bye-bye, everybody. Space closing in 3, 2, 1.
Thanks, Jason.
See ya. Oh, somebody was on Clubhouse. Oh, look, there's a whole bunch of people. Thanks guys for listening. Bye-bye, Clubhouse.
Thanks for having the room, Jason. I'll reach out to you soon. Thank you.
You betcha. Take care, everybody.